Welcome to the Wellness Revolution podcast.
Thanks again for joining the Wellness Revolution. Dr. Veronica here. I have with me today Wendy Myers, and you're going to love this interview because we're going to talk about the stuff you need to know to really get results on your health. So Wendy has a best-selling book, Limitless Energy. Wait, I'm going to give you the right title. Wait, Wendy, say the title for us because you can get this on Amazon. It's a #1 bestseller. You might even have it right there to hold up because sometimes people hold but Wendy,
Yes.
She's a best-selling author. She helps people detox from toxic metals, and she is the supplement and mineral queen. But we have this way of doing things that has converge on energy. And everybody talks to me about, I got low energy, I got brain fog, I got all this. But we have a system that we use now that helps people get hyper healing, the best health of their life. And we're going to talk about that today. So Wendy, first tell us the name of your book.
It's called Limitless Energy, How to Detox the Toxic Metals to End Exhaustion and Chronic Fatigue. So I know fatigue is the #1 complaint of all the thousands of clients that I've worked with. So I did a little bit of research on the metals that are mitochondrial poisons, so toxic metals that interfere in your body's ability to produce energy, and came up with a nice little book that has some simple protocols that you can do to detox these metals from your body and get more energy.
Yeah, so just to give a little background, when you say the mitochondria, people say that blah, 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 blah. So mitochondria, those are the little storehouses in your cells that make energy. And if they don't work right, everything falls apart and you feel like crap. And there's so many things that affect the mitochondria. We now know that it's really important for brain function, the mitochondria, but all over your body. And metals, they're all around us. So people say, well, metals, I've heard about amalgams in my mouth, but where else might people get metals from?
They get the metals in the air, food, and water. So it's really difficult to avoid them. There's certainly obvious sources like fish and shellfish, but there's metals in the water. Even if you're drinking filtered water, you're showering in water, they're going to have metals and chemicals in it. Even organic food can be fertilized with fertilizers that have toxic metals. Organic does not mean metal-free. So even supplements can have metals in them. So it's unfortunate, and our environment is quite toxic, but there's a lot of things that you can do to detox your body. And that's what I talk about on my website, detoxforenergy.com.
Yes. And so we found something that one-ups helping people get results. And I'm excited about it because as a medical intuitive, I read people's energy. And people who believe in energy, they come to me and they find me. But other people say, that's woo-woo, that's not real, it doesn't work. But I found this system that you also are an expert in, where it explains how I do what I do. When I first read in their book, Peter Fraser and Harry Massey, their book, Decoding the Human Body Field, and they explained about people who are intuitive, how they do their work, I was just like, this really is it. They get it. They get the physics of life. So let's talk a little bit about that, because I think that people need to understand there's 3 sides of health. There's that physical side, and we're talking about diet and supplements and fitness. But then there's the spiritual and emotional side, and most people will call that stress. But on the other side, there's this energetic piece that practically no one deals with, yet all our clients come in and talk to us about it. So let's talk about that. The energetic piece, how did it come into your awareness that this was a big deal?
Well, all I can say is I'm incredibly thankful that I met Harry Massey, who's the CEO of NessHealth.com. He brought a lot of awareness to me, and I wouldn't have believed this, or really tried it probably a couple of years ago. I was very focused on the physical body and taking supplements and functional medicine and doing functional medical tests. But I fortunately met Harry. I just interviewed him for a summit that I did. And I tried his program. It's a bioenergetic program called Ness Health. And I couldn't believe how much better I felt within about 30 days. I was really taken aback by it. Because as you know, like taking supplements and doing other kind of natural protocols can take some time. You don't always see results right away, especially with detox. Takes forever. It takes, 2-3 years. And who wants to wait around for that? But it's a necessary evil. But, with bioenergetics, if for anyone that's not familiar with the concept, we have our physical body. Our body runs and communicates with hormones, with neurotransmitters, with our nervous system. And that's one way the body communicates. But there's a whole other way the body communicates in our body's energetic field. And so what that is, it relates to quantum physics. So that sounds, whatever, kind of a big word, but it's not a difficult concept to grasp. It's essentially if you have a thought or you have a feeling or you have a physical issue, all of those things get into your body's energetic field and are communicated out to the universe, so to speak. And this was a concept delved into by Albert Einstein, the very famous equation E equals mc squared. And that just means mass, our physical mass equals energy. And that's exactly what we are the little atoms in our cells. They're all just, they're energetic. And so anytime we're having a physical health problem, it's because there's a breakdown in our body's energetic field. And the majority of the communication in our body happens in the body's energetic field. And so in the concept, some of the concepts behind Nest Health are that we have energetic blocks in our energetic field on our meridians. And when you have a blockage on your meridians or on a body part, your pancreas or your stomach or what have you, eventually, if that's there long enough, you can have a breakdown in physical functioning. And what happens is, our heart actually imprints information, operating instructions on energy waves and sends that to our body. That's actually the primary way our body communicates. Modern medicine cannot account for all the simultaneous trillions of human communications that are going on within our body. Our mitochondria and our neurotransmitters and hormones cannot account for all the communications and super fast, chemical processes that are happening in our body. And that is because everything happens quantumly. Everything happens in a split, millisecond with the communication system that we have in our body energetically, if that makes sense. And so what causes an energetic blockage? What causes an interference in our body's energetic field? Number one, emotional traumas. Any kind of emotional trauma that you've suffered in your life can cause an energetic block somewhere. There's actually a lot of research. Dr. Hamer studied about 60,000 cancer patients and where exactly in their body, what organs they had cancers, and then what emotional traumas that they had. And he found a very strong correlation between the type of cancer and the type of emotional traumas they had at some point in their life. So that you see that in a Nest Health scan that you do to find where your energetic blocks are. EMF, electromagnetic fields, is from your wireless internet, your electric smart meter, the cell phone towers. We're constantly getting microwaves, blows to our body. And that dramatically interferes in our body's ability to communicate and function. And that's why there's lots of studies showing that EMFs cause cancers and leukemias and brain tumors and other health issues. That's why. And it interferes in our body's ability to speak to different body parts. And other things that cause energetic blocks are heavy metals, chemicals, and then we also have a physical trauma where you have scars, you've had surgeries. Those also cause energetic blockages as well. And you have breakdown in energy and information flow in your body. And then you can have a breakdown in physical functioning.
Nice explanation.
So, doing my best here. It's complicated.
Yes, I know. So if people stay with me a little bit more, once we have these breakdowns, the big deal has been how to put it all back together. And so we have thought in the past that the body breaks down, especially in certain areas like the neurological system, that once it's broken, there's nothing that you can do about it. And now we know, based on a lot of study and science, that's, let's call it newer, because it's not so new if you see people have been studying it for 50 years, but it's just not in the mainstream where we're utilizing it. But this Nest Health system that we both use utilizes this information. So I have experienced personally things that have been broken on my body or problems with my body that if you go to a traditional neurologist's office, the best of the best with the best degrees, they would have no answer or solution for me. Yet through bioenergetic principles, my body has healed. I had a head trauma. I had neurological defects that were there, what are called Babinskis, both sides. And one of my friends, Dr. George Rolfe, who actually also invented a system to help this in a different way, actually pretty much fixed this in his office. And I was so amazed to lay there on the table. He worked on me for about 5 to 10 minutes, and all of a sudden these neurological defects that were there were gone. And 10 minutes I'm talking, whereas I'm walking around thinking, well, there's nothing I can do about this stuff. It's just, I have to learn to live this way. And adjusting to learning to live outside of being the fullest you can be is quite frustrating. And so then experience that healing rapidly, hyper healing was just fabulous. Now we know now that NES Health does that, both with what we call the Infoceuticals, which are the structured water part of it, drops that can't give you bad things that happen to them, but also the PEMF, the pulse electromagnetic frequency, the machine that we use called My Health. And regular everyday people can not only be scanned, but experience improvements rapidly in their health through using one or the other of these or both. So let's talk a moment about that. First, let's talk about what is an infoceutical, because this is where the physics real gets in. Now, I'm trained in homeopathy. A lot of people have hold in homeopathy, and I say, listen, it's physics, it's information, it gently pushes your body back to normal. This one-ups homeopathy.
Yes.
So talk about the infoceutical first.
Yeah, Nest Health is like the evolution of homeopathy, essentially. And the reason is because Nest Health has software. There's about 45 years behind Nest Health. There's about 30 years of research Dr. Peter Fraser did. He and Harry Massey, who's the current CEO of Nest Health, met, and they created a computer software where you can be sent a scanner and do a scan in the comfort of your own home, no matter how sick you are or well you are, and you can get an assessment of your body's energetic field. So we can peer into the body and find out exactly where you have these energetic blocks and give you a protocol to clear the energetic blocks and restore your body's energetic functioning and your body's information flow in the body and send correct operating instructions to your body. And so that protocol entails what are called Infoceuticals, which are basically just liquid drops that are energetic remedies, and a device called the My Health that is essentially, it's the same thing. It sends corrective information on energetic waves to your body. It looks kind of like a cell phone. I usually have it on me. I usually put it on
It's so funny, I have mine and I usually hold it up.
Yeah, I don't have it. I can go get it if you want. But yeah, so these are the two things you can do. These are the two protocols that you use to correct your body's functioning. And I actually host a podcast about bioenergetics called Supercharged with Harry Massey, because I'm so passionate about bioenergetics and how you can heal so many different health issues and brain fog and fatigue and just vague symptoms that when you go to the doctor they look at you and want to give you an antidepressant. You can address these issues at the root cause. And it far surpasses even functional medicine and how it works. And so you can go to thesuperchargedlife.com. We have a lot of information, like there's a video on what you see in a Nest Health scan. So you can go through each kind of screen in software that we use to see exactly what's going on in your body. And just there's so much different information, your immune system functioning, different energetic blocks on your organs. Are you hydrated enough? Is there enough oxygenation going in your body? Your circadian rhythms? There's so much information that you see in the scan, and it gives you a blueprint to begin addressing these things in the priority. You can't fix everything at once. So the scan has intelligence programmed into it where it'll prioritize what your top issues are, maybe your top 4, and you just start with those. And people get very rapid results. And so they typically will start with Infoceutical drops only. You get about 4 Infoceuticals, and you take them all together. Usually start with about 9 drops per day in a glass of water. And they address energetically the issues that come up in your scan. And then if a lot of people, they start getting really great results and they want to get a My Health device, it's, about, between $3,000 to $3,400, not cheap. But I use mine every single day, and it's something that people can add to their protocol when they're ready.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's wonderful to integrate with everything else that you're doing. So let's make it clear. It doesn't mean that if you're not eating right and you're, not sleeping and you're drugging and you're drinking and having stress in your life, that you're going to take these drops and it's going to fix everything. That's not the way the body works. This is meant to do in conjunction with doing what you can to improve your lifestyle. But what is also beautiful about this is sometimes people have a hard time sticking to a program or psychologically just grasping it or feeling angry about it. And something that the Infoceuticals and My Health can work on is what I'll call the emotional acceptance, which makes it easier for people to follow those changes that they want to do and help the changes stick over time so you don't slide back. So a lot of treatments, you do it and then you got to keep going and going and going because you slide back. Usually when you do these energetic treatments, it fixes it, and then, okay, you're past that, and then you move on to something else. So talk a little bit about how it integrates in, because we're not advocating that people don't eat healthy and everything. And if you think, oh, I'll just get the drops, it's going to fix everything. No, that's not the way it works. So you talk about how you use this.
Yeah, so I can talk a little about my experience. Before I started using this, here I am, this health coach, detox expert, and I was waking up every morning really exhausted and waking up like I'd been hit by a truck, and using coffee to wake up. And I was having trouble losing weight and brain fog, not feeling good. And I started using Ness, and I was also not sleeping very well also. So I started using Ness, and within a very short period of time, my lower back pain cleared up using the My Health within about a week. I had been having troubles with it for about 2 years. And I started sleeping a lot better. My circadian rhythms were correcting. And as a result of that, I started getting more energy. I had much better mood. I had a lot better mental clarity. I was really, really happy with my results. But, and you have to keep doing it. But if you have certain stressors in your life, like if you have a bad diet, if you have mold in your home, which I discovered that I have mold in my home, I think that's really where my issues began. And so Ness is helping me keep my head above water, where I'm able to function. I feel really good, but you have to move out of your moldy house or remediate it, because it's going to continue to be a stressor. And Ness can, 100% address that. Also, if you have EMF, you have high EMF exposure in your home from your wireless router or dirty electricity in your walls, or you live near a cell phone tower, Ness is not going to be able to fix that. It will give you some protection, It will help correct some of the damage done by EMF and how it kind of throws off your body's energetic field. It can kind of bring you back into alignment, but you ultimately have to clean up your environment. And same thing with diet and exercise and stress. Ness definitely helps you to manage stress better. I have way more stress in my life, but I'm handling it much more gracefully and don't feel as stressed as much as I used to. But you still have to manage stress in your environment and stressors. So it's not a magic bullet. There's no magic bullet out there. It's just a great way to complement and up your game with whatever else you're trying to do in meeting your health goals.
Yes. And now, having said that, I want to put in the push for the nice part about it is giving some symptomatic relief quickly. So what I noticed when I started using it, the My Health, is that same night, all of a sudden, slept completely. Now, I'm not a horrible sleeper, but sometimes I'll wake up and you get to the middle part of life and you wake up with a flush or a sweat or something like that. Yeah. The first thing I noticed that went away was I slept through the night and oh my gosh, these flushes are gone. Like immediately. The same night I started using it. And that's what's beautiful, because when you start something, it's like, oh, how long is it going to take for this to work? And it gradually gets better. And so all of a sudden you say, oh yeah, that's gone. Whereas this, it was nothing changed except I put it on the sleep mode, put it under my pillow, and then woke up the next morning and said, oh my gosh, I didn't wake up. I woke up once to I went to the bathroom, but then I went right back to sleep. But I didn't wake up because I had a flush. And a lot of times that's why I would wake up. Okay, here's that nightly flush.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, Ness Health helps to correct your hormone functioning because it corrects a lot of different things at the same time, just because it's just getting your body functioning better again. It's getting your, operating instructions flowing where they're supposed to go again. So it corrects a multitude of different issues going on in your body. But the most notable changes people feel are improvement in sleep and more energy and better brain function and mood. And so they just feel better. But not everyone feels changes right away or within 30 days. Some people, for whatever reason, that just takes them a little bit longer to experience changes, or the changes are very subtle. I do find people get better results when using the My Health than just doing the Infoceuticals alone. My personal experience has only been with Infoceuticals and the My Health. I started with the My Health, but a lot of people just start with Infoceuticals. But for many people, some people that are very sensitive, they can just do a couple drops of the Infoceuticals and they have a lot of changes going on. So there's no question that the Infoceuticals work or that the My Health works. It's just a matter of, some people have subtle results. Some people, it's like a lightning bolt struck them.
Yes. And so in talking about how people heal, let's talk about healing reactions, because people have reactions to healing, and sometimes they can be a little bit unpleasant, and people feel like, well, what did you just do to me? I have this weird feeling I didn't have before, and it's not so pleasant. So let's talk a minute about healing reactions, because a lot of people, I'm sure you've seen people have these when you help them detox with heavy metals. But also when you start any type of new protocol, you can have that uptick in unpleasant feelings. So explain a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Ness is amazing, but it's not all rainbows and unicorns. You do have, it's not like you automatically feel amazing. You are going to sometimes get little colds as viruses are coming up and out, latent viruses, or you can have achy bones, or you can have some anxiety or depression as you are emotionally detoxing and processing certain things. You can have insomnia also. And so there's certain things that can be unpleasant, but any kind of worthwhile health protocol, typically you are going to have some sort of like healing reactions or detox symptoms, if you will. And so with Ness Health, the most common symptoms are kind of what I just mentioned. I had one client start Liver Driver, for instance, and they were kind of depressed for a few days. Or I started Bone Driver that helps to get, correct bone functioning and bone health. But you have a lot of metals in your bones like lead and aluminum. When you're detoxing aluminum, you can get achy bones. So I had some achy bones for about 12 hours, but it passed. I've definitely used the My Health and put it on an emotional setting to release negative emotions. And I definitely had some anxiety, albeit mild. Some people can have very strong symptoms, but most people, it's incredibly mild, and it passes in a very short period of time.
Yes. Okay, so let's talk about how people can work with this, because I like it, and I'm sure you like it for the same reason, because I work with a lot of people remotely, and this is something that people can do remotely. But also, I just want to let the audience know who's listening and watching that if you want to physically see somebody, you can do that too. And so Wendy's over there on the West Coast. I'm on the East Coast, Philadelphia, New York area. So if you're in the middle of the country, you're still not lost. There's ways we can work with you. But if you want to physically see a practitioner, over there is Wendy. Over on the other side is Dr. Veronica. And so I'm happy to have people come in, but it's not necessary for you to
No, it's not.
Let's talk about that, because that's what I find exciting, having something I can send to people and work with them remotely. And so therefore it makes it convenient. So talk about that.
Yeah, so that's what I like about it too, because there's a lot of people that live in small towns and rural areas, and they just don't have adequate alternative medical care or health care. And so with Ness Health, you just get sent a scanner in the mail. You can do your little scan. It takes 5 minutes. That's sent to your practitioner, and you do a Skype appointment or a phone call reviewing your scan, and then you get mailed the Infoceutical, or you can do the My Health on yourself. Some people, it might be good for them to go into a practitioner to try a My Health, just as they can see for themselves how powerful the My Health is before they kind of commit to the purchase. But it's one of those things that you have lots of alternatives. There's 4,500 practitioners around the world. Ness Health has been around for about 15 years. It's not some new thing. It's very tried and true. And so you can work with, I have about 3 Ness practitioners that work under me. Dr. Veronica is doing it as well. But lots of choices in your healthcare to do Ness.
Yes, and that's what's beautiful. And okay, so we talked about the My Health, and people might have said 3,000 to 3,500 for the My Health. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about it, because people say, well, this is not affordable. Generally, if people decide I want to get a scanner and do it at my home, or I'm going to get the Infoceuticals, give an idea of the monthly cost for things like this, because I think it's modest for the result that you get, definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's just the My Health. It's like there's different prices on the internet, 3,000 to 3,500. But for most people, it's going to cost about $250 a month, which is really not bad. That's what a lot of people are paying for a doctor's appointment and some medication, or which, I'm not like the biggest fan of, but as far as addressing the underlying root cause of your health issue. And so usually for my website, we charge $250 to be sent a scan, and that includes an hour consult to review the scan. But in the Infoceutical purchases, usually about $200 to $250. So very affordable, relatively.
Yes. Now, and the other part of it is a lot of times you could do this forever in a day, but you might get to a point where you like, I'm good. I'm not going to use the Infoceuticals. That's the goal I have for my clients, that they get to the point where they're in such a good place, they feel like, you know what, I don't really need to do anything, and I'll just do it as needed. And so that's one of the beauties of this type of protocol, is that you can do it on a as needed basis. It's not like your pharmaceuticals that you're hooked to them forever with no way to get off of them. And in fact, I can tell you that I've used the My Health for pain on myself and also on my husband from injuries. And within a few hours, a lot of time the pain is gone. even from breaks and bangs and significant stuff that you would think, oh, you can't heal from that. So I just, people think, oh my God, how are we going to? Now, one little piece is people say, what are you diagnosing me? And I tell people that we're not making a medical diagnosis, giving medical advice or medical treatment. It doesn't lend itself to that. In fact, we're looking at your whole body, and we're not saying, oh, you have high blood pressure. Oh, you have thyroid disease. Oh, you're crazy and got schizophrenia. That's not what it does. That's the construct of Western medicine. We're looking at what's happening with cells and organs. So I want to explain, can you explain, this is the last topic, explain a little bit about that, just so people refocus their thinking, not on what's going on with my thyroid, but what's going on underlying that can be fixed that may not have a name to it.
Yes. So when you do a Nest Health scan, definitely not a diagnosis. You just see where you have energetic blocks on any organ or body area in the brain, in your eyes, what have you. It assesses about 70 different points on the body where you could potentially have an energetic block. But interestingly, I've done hundreds and hundreds of scans. I find, and even with myself, my dogs, my daughter, my friends, and my clients, I find that the energetic blockages in the scan very, very highly correlate with physical issues that people know that they have or diagnoses that they have with their doctor. And so the scan it's incredibly accurate. And so it's one of those things I find really, really interesting and really compelling, what you are able to see in the scan. I even had one client that we did his scan, and his entire heart, every area of his heart was blocked. The second scan, every area of his heart was blocked. He went to his physicians. He did have like a 70%, but some high degree of blockage in his arteries. He needed to go for open heart surgery and do a quadruple bypass. And so the scan caught that.
Wow.
And so, yeah. And so the scan sees a lot of different things. So it can be because we definitely need, medical attention and, and care and whatnot. So the Nest Health scan can be, predictive and seeing areas where there's a problem, and that you can go to your doctor and then have it further assessed. But for Nest Health, takes care of a lot of different issues in the body, even before you get a diagnosis or before you have problems. It's a wonderful preventive protocol that not only does it give you back your energy, and it give you I've heard stories of unbelievable resolution of their symptoms in a very short period of time. But it can also, it's not diagnostic, but it can be predictive, and it can alert you to a problem that you might want to have further evaluation, but it's also preventive as well.
Yes, and I'm gonna make one correction that you said before. You said the scan takes about 15 minutes. Actually, it takes about.
Oh, did I say that?
Seconds. Really, you said the scan takes about 15 minutes. I'm sure.
Really? Did I say that?
Seconds. I was like, I gotta say that, because I want people to understand how fast it is. Every time I've done a scan on people, they're like, that's all? And then I tell them about, hey, this or that's happening. They're like, how do you know all this about me?
I know. I said 5 minutes. I said it's like to set up on your computer and then do the scan, and some of the practitioners. It takes like 5 minutes. Yeah. It's super, super fast. And now the actual scan itself is like a second.
It's so quick. Now, the other piece that I want people to know, you people who are animal lovers to know, is that this is a technology that can be used to help animals in an amazing way. And animals don't have the same preconceived notions and blockages or, doubt that humans have. And so animals get better results than people. So is that true, false?
Yes, you and I were just at the training together. I did my second training in Tampa, Florida, and we were there with Dr. Mercola, and we were there with Dr. Lee Cowden. You guys might know Mercola.com. He went to the Nest Health bioenergetic training. It's no joke. And in that training, we watched lots of videos of horses in pain, barely able to walk, getting one My Health treatment, and then walking perfectly fine because they're out of pain. Nest works unbelievably unbelievable for pain. I can testify to this myself. But I also use Nest Health on my dogs. I have a dog that's 5 pounds. She's a Pomeranian. She is about 12 years old, has had a lot of different health issues related to her diet and just digestive issues. And of course, always comes up digestive issues and liver issues and teeth always come up in the scan, which are her issues. And sometimes she's in pain or just not feeling good. I do a My Health session on her. She's up and within a couple hours up and playing like a little puppy again. And I've spent thousands of dollars on vet bills. There's just a complete waste of money. And in doing Nest Health with her, she has just had a complete revival in her health within such a short period of time. So that's essentially what I use with my animals.
Beautiful. And so I want to thank you so much for having this conversation with me. I believe that this is the way medicine should be done first before you go through all the other stuff. So when you intend to change, this could be done first to avoid some of the stuff that people are going through now. So Wendy Myers, thank you for being on the Wellness Revolution.
You're so welcome. You can learn more about me at detoxforenergy.com. And I have a new podcast coming out called Detox for Energy Podcast on iTunes. And if you want to learn more about bioenergetics, I'm doing a podcast called Supercharged with Harry Massey, who's the CEO of Nest Health. And you can find that at thesuperchargedlife.com.
And everybody knows that all those links are going to be in the show notes. So thank you so much, Wendy.
Thank you, Dr. Veronica.
Thank you for listening to the Wellness Revolution podcast. If you want to hear more on how to bring wellness into your life, visit drveronica.com. See you all next week. Take care.